What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. We have to talk about this Rey team. I have been trying to find counters to this Rey team, and it is not going well. The team composition is Galactic Legend Rey, Resistance Heroes Finn and Poe, General Kenobi, and Chewbacca. This team is impossible to fight, or basically you can't even win against this team, and this team still does not have its ultimate ability unlocked on Galactic Legend Rey. I have tried everything under the sun. We've seen so many different videos popping up of different counters to Galactic Legend Rey. I did a video the other day talking about how Palpatine with Darth Revan and Malak and some other characters can defeat a Rey team, but it wasn't exactly the most optimal lineup, as people figured out, as people mentioned in the video. And also, there was a problem with Darth Revan outspeeding Finn, which can be countered by Wat Tambor, and having the tech on Darth Revan making him go faster than Finn. Not exactly the most reliable thing. There's a video from Cubs this morning talking about how you can bring Han in with a lineup and use that to stun Finn, but once you throw in Chewbacca and you have guard on Finn, you can't stun him at that point. And then there's also videos of talking like a First Order defeating Rey. There's been a bunch of different teams that have been brought up as counters to Galactic Legend Rey, and honestly, none of them seem to be working well with this General Kenobi and Chewbacca lineup. Now the question is, why is this team so deadly? What makes it such a pain in the butt to get over on defense? And I have to tell you right now, that Chewbacca guard on Finn really defeats a lot of the counters we've found so far. With guard on Finn, you are now able to prevent him from getting stunned, dazed, and he cannot be critically hit. So that automatically shuts down Emperor Palpatine. That shuts down gas, which was one counter I thought was really going to work. You can't critically hit with gas, which then means you can't increase the cooldowns on Finn. You can't stun him, so obviously Palpatine's not going to work. You can still put fear on him, but again, Finn can be very fast. And honestly, the team I've been fighting against is not exactly the easiest thing in the world. I mean, 511 speed on this Rey, but she was faster at one point. So honestly, this Rey team that I'm going against is no joke at all, but I have tried every counter under the sun that people have mentioned, people have brought up in videos. I've tried them all against this team. None of it works. I have tried the Jedi Knight Revan with the two Anakins and Yodas I actually saw that pop up the first day. I tried that, and that didn't work at all because you can't critically hit Finn, so you can't increase his cooldowns, but also with the massive speed on Finn, it's very difficult to go before Finn. You can't stun him thanks to Chewbacca, so he's difficult to get around to as well, but also the lifeblood on Rey with the crit immunity on the whole team, plus General Kenobi and his crit immunity. You can't really do much with this. And of course, you can try to put healing block and buff immunity with Jedi Knight Anakin, but also not exactly the easiest thing at all. The Jedi Knight Revan with this one, it's novel, it's a novel idea, and it works strongly against teams that don't have those two characters in there. But once you throw Chewbacca and GK in there, you can't really do anything. The critical hit immunity, the guarding, everything, you just don't really get that. You don't really get that ability anymore. Now, another team that I saw people really bring up as counters was the Palpatine team with Darth Revan and Malak, and this is one I even did a video on the other day. And a lot of people were commenting about how Darth Revan was going before Finn, and it wasn't exactly optimal. And you can counter that by putting in Wat Tambor and using that to make Darth Revan faster than Finn. So you can still make Revan faster than Finn, but again, you then run into the problem where the guard on Finn prevents him from being stunned. So if you can't stun Finn, he's still going to move. And while you can increase cooldowns with fear, there's still problems here with General Kenobi and his taunt and preventing you from targeting Rey with the fear ability from Darth Revan. So eventually Finn's gonna move, he's gonna put his cooldowns, or he's gonna start using his cooldowns, and then he's gonna put Inspired on the team, and then things fall apart pretty quickly. Then, yeah, so that one doesn't really work well against the General Kenobi Chewie team either. And then I've also seen stuff talking about First Order, how you can use a First Order team. But even then, with the crit immunity with Rey and General Kenobi, the blocking from stuns on Finn because of Chewie, What I'm getting at is that this team is impossible to defeat with a one-shot. There is nothing out here right now that can currently one-shot this team, at least not that anybody has found. And I thought maybe it was me and my testing, and I went to go check with other people, and I got the same feedback from everybody. They can't defeat this team. They cannot do anything against it in Arena. It has everybody stumped. And even the top 2 guilds in the game that fought in this past territory war, Ma 1 or Ma Kyber and Caw Patrol, they fought against each other, and they were basically just throwing crap at Rey to see what would defeat it, trying to figure out counters. They were doing arena testing during the territory war to see what they could do to counter Rey, if anything would work. And they had L3 and Malak in there instead of Chewbacca, and even then they were having problems with one-shotting these teams. There was times where they were doing 4 to 5 attempts to clear a Galactic Legend Rey team. It is not easy to defeat Rey, and that's something else that I think kind of needs to be discussed as well, is are we going to have some kind of balancing mechanic here? And I'm sure people in the comments are going to say, well, what about the ultimate on Kylo? The ultimate on Kylo, I think, is something that should be mentioned because obviously we don't have that yet, so we don't know what exactly his ultimate's going to do. But I mean, it does give him a pretty good damage bonus ability. He can't be defeated. He doesn't take damage. His siphon's doubled, his abilities have no cooldown, so you can spam his AoE ability if you get 3 turns on this. You can spam his AoE ability and just keep stealing mastery from someone and just wreck the enemy team. But that's the big question, is this going to really work? And that, I think, is something that does need to be stated and something we will have to test on our own against Galactic Legend Rey once we have his ultimate ability unlocked. I think his ultimate ability is going to give him up to a more even level with Rey, but then you run into the problem again with her ultimate ability where she shuts down all damage on her team and she has 30% less speed. Yeah, if you use these ultimates at the same time, Rey kind of counters Kylo Ren's ultimate ability, and it's just kind of power imbalance we're still seeing with the Galactic Legends. And I think this is something that we have seen discussed a lot, is are we going to see some kind of nerf on Rey? And honestly, I'm kind of getting to the point that I think that maybe we do need to start nerfing her a little bit. Maybe she's a little too strong. I get why she's so strong. I mean, she has to be strong. With the amount of resources we have to dump into these characters to unlock them, they better be strong. We better get a good return on these characters. But when these characters become pretty much unbeatable with the right composition, that becomes a problem where something needs to give. And we've had all these metas before. We've had General Skywalker, which has like 20 bajillion counters now. Darth Revan had counters. Jedi Knight Revan could be countered by a Darth Traya team day 1, which it was very difficult, but you still had counters to a lot of these meta teams at the very beginning of their cycle. You don't really have any counters for Rey with Kenobi and Chewie in those spots there. You can't really defeat the team, and I think that's going to be a big problem. I mean, General Skywalker teams can walk right over a Supreme Leader Kylo Ren team, so the question is going to become, what can counter Rey? And I think this is something that we'll see more discussion on here in the future. I know Arlen Mobile was talking about on one of their videos as well, and I think that at some point, either we're going to get new characters to counter Rey, or maybe they're going to have to nerf Rey to kind of give other players a chance, because if you don't have Rey and you go against a team with Rey, you are at a severe disadvantage. I mean, there's levels to being a disadvantage. I mean, obviously, if someone has like the new meta characters and you don't, you're already at a disadvantage as it is. But when you have to fight against a Galactic Legend Rey and you don't have a Rey of your own, you don't even have Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, that's going to really screw things up. And that's going to hurt, especially in Grand Arena matchmaking, which we'll see here in the next round. If you go against someone with these Galactic Legends and you don't have them yourselves, you're kind of screwed. There's no real way around that. All you have to do is throw a Rey team on defense, and you're going to have a hard time defeating them. And yeah, I mean, we've seen some strong defensive teams. Obviously, the General Kenobi and Chewie team seems to be the best, but if you take out Chewie and throw in either Malak or L3, which was teams we saw the top-end guilds use for territory wars, even then, you still had a very strong defensive team that guilds were stumped by. So Rey is an absolute defensive juggernaut on defense, and you know what? Good for her. That's great. That's fantastic. Having a strong defensive meta character, that's great. But the problem becomes when she can't be beat. That's when things start to get a little too much, and I think that that's why we're probably gonna see some kind of balancing mechanic for her in the future. Maybe not, though. At this point it's CG, so they probably don't really care that much. We'll see what they do. Let me know down below in the comment sections, what do you guys think? Do you guys think she needs to get nerfed? Do you think that we're still overreacting? We still need to see the ultimate for Kylo. Do you think that's going to balance things out in his favor? Let me know down below. As always, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. I will see you guys next time.